Hey guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today we're going to be talking about the luteal phase. I made a video series like this years and years and years ago talking about, I don't know if it was like making the most out of each phase or just teaching about like strengths and weaknesses you have in each phase, but I really enjoyed it and I need to go grab another book. I'll be back. So I pulled inspiration from a few books that I will link down below, but definitely if you want to learn more about each of your phases, two books that I used to make these videos were 50 Things You Need to Know About Your Periods by Clara Baker, and then The Optimized Woman by Miranda Gray. These are both really good about going through the different phases and just strengths and weaknesses you have, how to make the most out of them. Another good book that is similar to these that I love is In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti. This is a good one. It's one of my favorites. I mean, as are these. And then another one, if you want to learn more about like eating with your phases, The Happy Hormone Guide is a great one. And this is by Shannon Leparsky. So these are some great books. I'll link them down below, as well as my like Amazon bookstore where I try to put all of my favorite books. So your luteal phase is roughly the 2 weeks between when you ovulate and when you start your next period. It is a consistent number of days within a few days, cycle to cycle. The norm is a 14-day luteal phase, but you can have anywhere from like a 10-day to 16-day luteal phase, and that's considered normal as well. Fun fact, an 18-day luteal phase is actually a sign of pregnancy, and that is how I knew that I was probably pregnant with my second child, because I had never had a luteal phase longer than I think 14 days. When I decided to go out and get a test, I was on day 16 of my luteal phase, and lo and behold, I was pregnant. A luteal phase shorter than 10 days or one filled with premenstrual spotting or both could indicate a estrogen dominance or a progesterone deficiency. I have had both a short luteal phase and a lot of premenstrual spotting, and I believe it was from a progesterone deficiency that I healed naturally with Vitex, and I have videos about that. I just think there's so much that we can learn from our luteal phase as well as our cycle in general, and that's why I get so jazzed up about sharing like fun little tidbits of our phases and our cycle as a whole. If our menstrual cycles were the seasons, your luteal phase would be fall or autumn. And for people who experience unwanted or unpleasant PMS symptoms, this can be one of their least favorite phases. But there are plenty of positives to this phase, and I'm going to share those with you today. I know slowing down and making time for yourself is difficult for a lot of people, but it is so crucial and important in this phase of your cycle. You don't have that energy and spark and pizzazz that you had earlier on in your cycle, and that's actually a good thing because you can't be on 24/7 all day, every day, year round. You have to give yourself time to slow down and take a break. And this is just your body's way of naturally telling you to do those things. When you let yourself slow down and calm down during your luteal phase going into your menstrual phase, some women find that their periods are easier on them. Don't fight the calming benefits of progesterone, just lean into them. I know that when I slow down at the end of my cycle and into the beginning of my next cycle, so at the end of my luteal phase and the beginning of my menstrual phase or my period, I get this spark of energy and inspiration and creativity, and like I can take on the world, starting at the tail end of my period into my follicular phase and ovulation. And like that is the most delicious, wonderful feeling to me. So I always remind myself, Victoria, this is important. Don't fight it, give into it. Take a break, because you're gonna get that like big juicy energy that you love and enjoy. This is a great time to tap out more often, hand off responsibilities, and just make space for you. But you have the ability to kind of like dig deep, go within, and look at what's been working and not working. In her book, Claire talks about writing an autumn list, which I think is a great idea. I'm all about writing things down, getting them out of your head and onto paper to just clear up space, because I'm definitely a person that thoughts and like to-dos and everything will spin and spin and spin in my head until I write them down somewhere, and then I can kind of release them because I know they've physically been written down. They've been organized onto a list, and so they will get taken care of, and I don't have to sit there and like think about them. So she suggests taking some time, sitting down and writing out anything that is bothering you, gnawing at you, making you sad, frustrating you, and just get it out of here and onto a piece of paper. and then just leave it alone. Don't pick up that piece of paper, that list, or anything until after your period has come and gone, when you can take action on it. And you don't have to take action on it. If you get to that point in your cycle and you look at your list and you're like, no, I'm not really ready to act on any of this yet, that's fine. Just leave it. Not necessarily during my luteal phase, but anytime I find myself at a point in life where I'm like, things aren't working, life's not smooth, you know, some aspect of it isn't fulfilling for me, I sit down, I dig deep, and I look at, okay, what are the aspects and areas that I'm not happy with, and what can I do to tweak those or change those or accept them? So now let's get into some things that you can do to make this phase go smoother, ease PMS symptoms that you may experience, and all that good stuff. So self-care looks different to everyone. What I picture when I think of self-care isn't going to be the same thing as you, and it doesn't have to be super luxurious or expensive or any of that. But if there's one time in your cycle to put a little bit more care towards yourself, this is the phase. Meditate, or if meditation isn't your thing, just sit quietly for 10 minutes. This has been shown time and time again to reduce stress levels. I meditate for at least 10 minutes every night before bed, and it's just a great final thing to do before drifting off into sleep. I know some people benefit from meditating in the morning or taking a break in the middle of the day when they're just feeling really overwhelmed and stressed out, to just sit quietly for 5 minutes or meditate. So this is a great phase to lean into that. Get more sleep. This is the time where if you're feeling a nap on a Saturday afternoon, take that nap. Go to bed early, sleep in a little bit. You want to focus on gentle exercise during this phase. Hot yoga, going on walks, stretching, sitting in a sauna, sitting in a hot bath. I know those aren't exercise, but like sweating is good during this phase. You want to cool it on the caffeine, the sugar, and the alcohol in this phase, and just really focus on getting water and fluids in instead. This is the time to let yourself cry and be emotional. I've said before that pregnancy reminds me of just an extended luteal phase, and in this sense, like it does. You're definitely more emotional when you're pregnant. Slowing down and being tired and needing to like take care of yourself is very true in pregnancy, and having a good cry is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And so if you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling overwhelmed, let yourself feel those emotions, let yourself just kind of fall into them, and if you need to go and cry, cry. I love crying in a nice warm bath or a hot shower. That's like my go-to cry place. And there's nothing wrong with feeling these emotions, and I think it's important to let them out, and sometimes all we need is a good cry, and then we instantly feel better. Because this is the point in your cycle that you want to release any pent-up energy or emotions, baggage that you've been carrying with you throughout the cycle. Just release it, let go of it, and don't take it with you into the start of your next cycle. Because we're experiencing so much in this phase, I like to get a little detailed in my charting, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I chart beyond temperature and fluid. And these are things that I chart cycle around, but I think especially in a luteal phase, when we're experiencing a bit more of those like PMS-y symptoms, it's a great time to chart them, because when you know what to expect, or you know what things are normal for your luteal phase, it makes it a bit easier to deal with. For example, I get really irritable sometimes in my luteal phase, and instead of like getting frustrated myself or like, why am I so irritable and short, it's like, no, it's okay, like this is just how I am in this phase, and I can apologize to those around me like, hey Michael, I'm sorry I'm being such a bee, I'm just really irritable right now, and I'm sorry that you're the one I'm taking it out on. So some things that I chart. Did I get 8 hours of sleep, or did I toss and turn the night before? What's my mood like? Am I happy, sad, irritable, energetic, groggy, or motivated? Am I breaking out? Am I having cramps? Am I bloated? Do I have headaches? And those are just kind of the things I tick. And once you chart these for a few cycles, you can see, oh, I experienced these things at this point, but I actually break out more around ovulation. And so it's just a fun little thing to do if you chart. The other book that I said I pulled from for this video is The Optimized Woman. I got this one years and years ago. It was really one of the first introductions I had into our like strengths and weaknesses and the more like emotional, physical side of our cycle and the phases beyond just fertility and what's happening in our cycle, but like what's happening in our mind. So I definitely recommend this one. Miranda in this book says that our luteal phase have the most potential to make an impact on our life as far as our work lives, our relationships, and how we feel about like who we are and how we're doing in life. So like I said before, it's a great opportunity to just like dig in and clear out any emotional baggage, write things down, get it out of your head, get it out of your heart, and not carry it forward into the next cycle. Okay, so I'm gonna read from The Optimized Woman some creative phase abilities, what doesn't work so well, some strategies. So she calls the luteal phase the creative phase. So this is a great time for excitement-led creativity, creative writing, enthusiasm-led design, manifesting her goals, recognizing hidden opportunities, creating new ideas, blue sky thinking, identifying and dropping anything that isn't working for us, clearing out the emotional baggage. What doesn't work so well, hashing out with other people does not work very well in this phase. Starting new projects, any sort of like structured learning, thinking, or planning, and trying to fix yourself or your relationships. Some strategies. Physical, take power naps, get more sleep, only use extra caffeine when necessary, use exercise to release frustrations and stress. Emotional, create downtime for yourself, write down your emotions, your dreams, and your desires, acknowledge and feel your emotions, don't suppress them or try to act on them, avoid major decisions, avoid arguments, don't worry when you're unable to do things in your normal way, and stay in the now. Work, keep a notepad handy to jot down any like ideas or inspirations, take a deep look at your to-do list and cross out anything that's not really worth doing, and leave socializing and networking to your ovulatory phase. My goal in sharing all of this about your luteal phase is, even though it might not be our favorite phase, there are a lot of positives that can come out of it if we make the most out of our strengths and what we're good at in this phase. Let me know down below what your luteal phase is like, and if you have any like strategies or routines that you implement to make the most out of this phase and to just allow yourself to calm down, slow down, reflect, and make time for yourself. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you learned a little something about your luteal phase, and I'll see you guys in my next video. The next phase I'm going to be going over next month is the ovulatory phase, so keep your eye out for that.